great turnout. I'm so delighted that everybody has attended. The feedback that we got on our own event internally was just absolutely fabulous. So we knew that whenever we launched this kind of to the public that the turnout would be great. So a good friend of mine and a good friend of CavanaghKelly's told me whenever I joined the CavanaghKelly partnership about 7 years ago that I would have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So as an accountant, standing in front of 299 women and one lovely male, speaking about women's health, this is pretty much out of my comfort zone. I don't think I've ever been as uncomfortable. So bear with me, please. This one is definitely for Yvonne Mitchell. I've also been quite cute here. I've placed two of my best friends, like oldest friends, at this table. My sister's at this table. So I can see loads of familiar faces. But a wee bit about me. As Caroline said, I'm one of 5 partners within CavanaghKelly, alongside Des and Michael and John and Ryan. Some of their wives are here today. And 5 seems to be my magic number, because as Caroline said, I also have 5 children. So I had the 5th whenever the eldest was 6. So, yeah, you know, whenever you say that out loud, you're sort of going, oh, wow. Yeah, it didn't seem like that crazy at the time, but I don't think it's a coincidence that we don't have that many visitors to our house, you know. But like many people here in this room, I have a busy job and I have a busy family home. So I have had to try to find a sustainable way of working, and that's something that's always been a challenge for me. It's always really hard to try to find that balance. So I think that's probably where the idea for today kind of arrived. It was born. So we met with diversity. There's my sister-in-law as well now, I just see as well. So I've been really cute here, placing people. We met with Diversity Mark, myself and Ruth, our HR manager, back in probably 2019, Ruth, maybe. And they asked us to identify what our biggest challenge was in facing the practice. So late 2019, so we identified probably menopause for us, because we had probably 75% of our workforce was female, and the average age was sort of mid-30s. So it was something that was coming down the way. Now, we obviously didn't see COVID coming down the way, so things kind of went on hold for a while. But we realised quite quickly that COVID might be going away, but menopause wasn't going away. And that was something that we knew we had to do something about. And as a female partner, I tend to get the knocks at the door to say, I'm pregnant, or, you know, I'm maybe not feeling myself. I maybe can't deal with things the way I used to be able to deal with things. You know, I can't maybe adapt as quickly, or I can't deal under pressure as well as I used to be able to do. And that was quite difficult, you know. It's difficult conversations, obviously, but it's also quite difficult to hear and quite frustrating to hear as well. So what we would do was we would just give the women whatever time that they needed, you know. Time off work, time to kind of recharge, time to take the professional advice and do what they had to do to go off and find some solutions. But as time went on, I probably realised that time wasn't enough, you know, because it's all about solutions, really. So some of the women, you know, were trying to battle through to talk to their GPs to find out what the solutions would be. And sometimes they were being dismissed, maybe, by some of the medical professionals. Told that there was nothing that could be done, and this was just what women went through, and you had to suffer it. And then, you know, whenever you're at home and you're not feeling that great, and you're at home and you're on Google, and you're finding out all these solutions on Google, so you're busy taking 3 or 4 supplements at the same time. They're probably all clashing with each other and making you go completely mad. You know, you're trying to find the right professional who knows what they're talking about to contact. And then once you find that professional, you're sitting on the waiting list then for maybe 6 months, you know, before you can get to see them. So we just felt as a practice that we needed to do so much more for our staff, because that just wasn't good enough. So, and bearing in mind, these women in our practice were that stage ahead of me. So these are the guys that I was sitting with as a trainee and I was learning from. So not only did they teach me so much about accountancy, but they taught me all about, they planned their wedding, that 5 years before I planned my wedding. You know, they taught me all about, lactose intolerant with babies and how you change milk and you do all that, you know, about the juggle that you have to do with the sleepless nights of newborns and back after maternity, how you adapt back after maternity, and then the juggling that you do with kids whenever they get a bit older and out in the roads and taking them from thing to thing, So I just felt that for me, I had to do something more for them. So we had to try to find a solution, because selfishly as well, this is coming my way, so I wanted these guys to be the trailblazers, So we felt that the best solution probably that we could do was to try to build that network of professionals around our practice and around our staff. So if we could do nothing else, at least we could signpost people who were coming to me to say, I have a problem, I don't know what to do. I'd say, well, okay, go and talk to Dr. Stewart, because I know Dr. Stewart. Go and talk to Dr. Stewart and she'll be able to sort you out. So that's what we set out to try to do, that they would be able to give them the solutions that they needed and give those solutions quicker. So rather than all of our staff on their own trying to get from 0 to 90 with this, we were trying to get them started at like 60%. So we have a baseline of knowledge for them to go forward. So, and the other thing is, like, people don't always, so we talked about it already, people come into work and you say, how are you doing? You say, yeah, I'm great. Yeah, brilliant. But deep down inside, you're not, So sometimes people don't always know what each other are going through, but because I was fielding a lot of these things, I probably had a better awareness. I knew that there was a need to do it. So that's how the Women's Health Initiative was born, really. And then in February, again, Ruth and I had the great idea of holding a whole week of training for our staff, 100 staff, a week training, a day per group. It was an absolute nightmare to deliver. And in the middle of it, we said, we'll do a whole session on women's health. So we did a morning with all our staff on women's health, and we invited Frances and Declan to come along. And then we had an afternoon session with our guys with a charity called ALPS, if anybody's aware of Frank Diamond. So he did a lot of work around kind of emotional well-being with males and depression and all of that side of things, which was really, really, really taken really well as well. We actually wanted to invite all our male staff to this type of event, the one that we did internally for the females, but Frances kind of advised that whenever you bring males into your room like this, sometimes females are afraid, and they not that they're afraid, but they don't feel as comfortable in opening up. So Frances advised that it was better to do the session with our own females, but Declan has offered to do a little podcast on what men need to know about menopause that we're going to share with our staff. So the feedback was, what? You did? Typical male, yeah. So the feedback was so good, and you know what, I knew it was going to be brilliant. I just knew it was going to be brilliant because the buzz from those people who were involved and organised it internally, we just knew the content was great. So Shauna here, Shauna was at a round table with Women in Business, and she happened to mention it, that we were doing this, and the feedback that she got from that table was so positive that we approached Women in Business then, and we thought that we could get onto a bigger platform with Women in Business, and here we are with 300 people in the room, which is amazing. So that's kind of how that collaboration started. But this event epitomises CavanaghKelly. It really does. And that's why I'm so proud to be part of CavanaghKelly and to have such a great team. We want to help each other as much as we can, and we want to help all of our clients in any way that we can. So, whether it's about accountancy, whether it's about giving their kids work experience in the office, whether it's about, having some of our clients here today, we'll help clients and our staff in any way that we can. So I just wanted to say a huge thank you to everybody who's here, and a special word of thanks to Shauna and to Michelle, who've given up so much time over the last couple of months to bring this together. And as Shauna said herself, she reckons she put more time into planning this event than she did her own wedding, which I truly believe. So, I leave it there, and thank you very much again for attending, and I hope you look forward to the rest of the event.